I'm prepared for this shit, you like a teen with a kid. No idea what's coming, bet you'll learn real quick, bitch. I got double digits in my hit list, switches, southpaw writtens, I'm relentless. Sickness, I make no excuses, no bitchin', stitches, and your future is just business. Been through hell and back, on our way to the top. Ain't got no time to relax, always working, no stop. Leave my soul on the track, bounce your head off the mat. This is a one-stop shop, got what you need in the back. Coming for the win, no weakness. Kote on a mission, no secret. Flick of the wrist, no sleep.
Hola chicos, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos a una nueva entrevista de Fordewin MMA. El día de hoy me encuentro con alguien que habla español, que estuvo recientemente disputando una tremenda pelea en UFC 265. Estoy con don Johnny Muñoz. La gente dice Muñoz, pero aquí es Muñoz porque somos personas que hablan español. Hola Johnny, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenido a Fordewin MMA.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Pues me siento muy bien y gracias por traerme aquí en tu show. Y pues vamos, quitamos. Y también, sí, mi apellido, mi nombre completo, Johnny Muñoz, así como dicen en español, no en inglés, como sí. Muñoz.
Shout out a mi amigo John Anik que dice Muñoz en vez de Muñoz. Vamos a tener que mandarle ahí el audio para la pronunciación de la semana. Hermano, vamos a hacer esto en inglés because there's a lot of people that are interested in what happened with you on the weekend. So let's get right into it. This is the first time the first time this fight was booked was at UFC 261. But your opponent, Jamey Simmons, was forced out due to an injury. He had some problems with his rib. How is it like to return to camp and training for the same guy again?
I mean, it didn't feel, I was just more, I think, annoyed when the fight fell off, just because, I haven't fought since August of 2020. That was my debut in the UFC. And yeah, it was just frustrating because I had 2 pullouts in April, and not being able to fight, it hurt so much, man, to tell you the truth. But I was quick to refocus, okay, like my manager said, they're going to move to a different date. We didn't know the date yet, but he said roughly July, August. So I was hoping July, but it ended up being August. So, we just stood with the task at hand. He just gave us more time to prepare for him, which I guess you can't complain, but it was just tough not being able to fight soon. But things happen for a reason, and it all worked out great. We were able to get the win over the weekend, and and here we are. I'm speaking to you now.
Yeah, well, that was an amazing win, man. You made a UFC debut almost a year ago to the T, and the Brunson versus Shavasian card against Nate Madness. That day, the decision didn't go your way, but after such an amazing undefeated run as a pro, how much of a chip on your shoulder did you grow after that experience? I ask because I know you're a really dedicated man, and you take great pride in your journey.
Yeah, I didn't like it. No one likes losing. Losing sucks. It was a bummer. But, I didn't crawl in a hole or hide and, complain or point the finger at other people, make excuses. I just went back to training. What do I need to work on? And I just improved off it. I just worked different things. Maybe if I won, I wouldn't have worked on those things. The fight, I thought I won, or it could have been a draw at worst. But I can't change the result of that. At the end of the day, I lost the fight, so I can't change it. So it was motivation to strive harder. And, losing, like I said, it sucks, but I came up through jiu-jitsu competitions. I've taken losses in there. There's so many jiu-jitsu competitions. I don't know anyone that's never lost a match in jiu-jitsu if, they're actually competing at the high level. So I know what it's like to lose. I don't like it. I'm a sore loser deep down inside. So it just makes me work harder, and it just makes me want to prove to myself, not only to the people, people's opinions don't really matter to me. Only my opinion matters, and the people that are around me, that have been with me on this journey since day one, is just really proving to myself and them that, hey, I could do this, and I am what I say I am, and I am what I see myself being.
Well, that's beautiful, man. Well, in your debut, the official debut in UFC, there was no crowd, but here you were able to experience all that energy. You were able to smell all that freedom in Houston, like you said. How much of an impact had to get back in there and perform for a live crowd?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. Like, I remember walking out to the curtain. After the curtain, they told me to walk out, and I was like, yeah, this is it. This is the moment I visualized in my head. Like, before I made my UFC debut, I was like, this is what I visualized in my head being my UFC debut, with crowd, people, music, just the lighting, everything. And yeah, I think that's why it just worked out so well. Everything felt right. Preparation, fight week, it just felt natural to me. Like, I've seen the image in my head before, and it was just basically me watching the tape again. Like, I've seen that scenario in my head so many times. It's what I visualized. And Saturday night, it was just a rerun of what I saw. And yeah, man, it was awesome. This is why I said in the post-fight interviews, the media back there, I was like, this was like my UFC debut. Even though I fought in August, that's not the image I visualized, because I didn't know COVID was gonna hit. I didn't know I was gonna fight with no crowd, small arena like that. So it was just a weird, different feeling. And on top of that, it was just a one-day notice. I didn't have no preparation on, even though I was training. But it just caught me off guard. So, but this fight over the weekend is what I visualized in my head being my UFC debut.
Well, after the fight was called and on those interviews that you discussed were made, when everything around you get quiet and you're surrounded by your closest teammates, how does it all hit? Being presented by Bruce Buffer in front of the Texas crowd, finally getting that first UFC W, showing your amazing ground game and sharp instincts the way you actually wanted it to be, surely has to be a lot to process. How does it all hit you in this first moment of calm and privacy?
Yeah, man, it just like hits me like, man, like I did it. You know what I mean? It makes you realize that when you visualize things, when you believe, you see scenarios in your head, they come true. And I think that's what gives you like the most like goosebumps. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of gives you those chills. Like, man, like, kind of scary a little bit. Like, just the power of the mind.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it was meant to be. And I think, like, I still got to work on my mindset. To me, like, you're never perfect. You always got to improve everything. Like, even like everyone said, oh, his jiu-jitsu is real good. Like, I'm always getting my jiu-jitsu better. Just because it's good, I don't stop working. You always got to keep improving in every aspect of the fight game. And yeah, it just, like, I remember before I made my UFC debut, or after, when I got back from that fight, I remember looking through some stuff in my room, and I found a piece of paper. Like, I wrote like 4 goals down, and one of them was like, I'm gonna be in the UFC in the year 2020.
Wow, that's deep. Johnny? Oh, parece que lo perdimos. Tuk tuk tuk. Johnny.
Froze.
Hey Johnny, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, we had a little hiccup. I just heard the last part where you said that it was meant to be, and then I lost you. Want to take it up from there?
Yeah. So like, I had wrote down
from the piece of paper. That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, a piece of paper. And then that gave me goosebumps when that was after my UFC debut. I found that piece of paper again. Dad wrote those goals in 2017, and I was like, man, like, it happened. I mean, when you just write something down and you manifest it in your head, they just come true. It's crazy how it works. But of course, you can't just be one of those people. I'm gonna write these goals down, say it in my head a bunch of times. I'm just gonna sit on my ass, watch TV, junk food. No, you got to write those goals down. You got to repeat it in your head, say it out loud, whatever. Work hard towards the goal, put in the work, and it's just weird how things happen.
Well, that's a beautiful story, man. That's something that... Do you still have that paper? You should frame that one. Absolutely,
yeah,
frame
I still have it. I was actually gonna, frame it. I was gonna write a new set of goals. Some of those goals it was just like 4, but I need to update it now since I'm already in the UFC now, to start writing goals now that I'm here, what I need to do to keep progressing.
Looking forward to seeing that one, man. Well, in the fight, one of the aspects that showed was your fluidity and your patience. Switching stances seamlessly, working that crisp double jab, feeling the timing for those takedowns. Like it was just gut, like you said in the post-fight interview. You looked sharp, you looked focused, and pretty much like the Kid Kvenbo that was about to make his UFC debut. What do you attribute that quality to this particular performance to? Was it the mixture of all these things that you were telling me about the mindset? Was it all the time in C-Quence and Entram? How do you see that one?
Yeah, it was a mixture of things. I think obviously the mindset, the preparation, that was a big thing right there. Preparation, because I knew I was going to fight, you know what I mean? And within the preparation, you know, training at my gym, C-Quence, my dad, who's my head coach, he always works with me. He's my main striking coach, my jiu-jitsu coach. He's my main coach everywhere. You know, me and him are always working together. So he keeps me on point, and I can't thank him enough. He's like my number one supporter for sure. Supports me a lot, travels with me and stuff. And also, you know, going to Entram gym as well, training down there with Brandon Moreno and everyone down there, getting good, hard sparring rounds has helped a lot. And then, you know, also working over there with the coaches over there, you know, Raul, Drift Cortez, who was Brandon Moreno's boxing coach, giving me a lot of pointers as well that I could add to my game. And all those little things helped me out a lot. And I think that's what I was able to show in the fight. I was trying to connect more on the striking. It was a little hard though. He was kind of like backing up a lot, disengaging. And the cage is so big, you know what I mean? That was the first time fighting in a big cage like that. Because the apex, the cage was smaller. So that was one thing. I was able to find my distance, but because he was backing out and there was more space to move, it was hard for me to follow up on some combos. And I didn't want to over chase. I wanted to be patient because I knew he was trying to counter me with an overhand.
Well, that experience showed, and it's all very amazing what you're telling me about that preparation. No doubt about it. Entram is becoming some sort of a melting pot for South American athletes. You have guys from all over the place, Mexicans, Argentinians, Chileans, and a bunch of other flags represented there. As a fighter with strong Mexican roots, but as strong American influence as well, what have you learned in your time in Tijuana, besides technical aspects, about the fight life itself?
Yeah, man, it's just it's a war zone over there, you know what I mean? Like, there's people from all over Latin America are going there. And to me, Entram Gym is the best gym in all Latin America, hands down. I've been to a lot of gyms, and they got a lot of resources there. If you're like a young, hungry fighter looking to make it, my advice is like move to Tijuana, train at Entram, get in contact with them. You know, that's the place to be. And I like going over there. Some people probably think, oh, well, you know, I live in the United States. Like, why do you cross over to train over there? You know, for me, like, I'm big on like my Mexican heritage. You know, I speak Spanish. I prefer to speak Spanish over English. I go to Mexico a lot. I have my family over there, so I've been over there a lot. And growing up, I was brought up like with those roots, Mexican heritage, and all that stuff. So yeah, it's just very familiar to me, and I like to be a part of that. And going over there, like, you know, it's that not only Mexican, it's in Mexico, but like you said, there's different people from different parts of Latin America there, so you get that whole Latino culture. And I think a lot of in the United States, people think, oh, you know, Latino culture, it's a different how people view the Latino culture here. It's different over there, you know what I mean? And I know the difference between the two, because if you only live in the United States, sure, you're Latino, but if you never traveled to Latin America or Mexico, you're not embedded over there. You really don't know the culture over there. It's different, you know what I mean? And for me, there's a lot of hungry people there, so like if everyone pushes each other, and it's like a lot of people like TJ, you know, could be a rough area. And I think that's also something that, you know, that brings out the toughness in you, that rough environment, you know what I mean? And it brings out just that toughness, that warrior spirit. And as you know, a lot of Mexicans have that. And I feel like those are big takeaways going over there.
Absolutely, man. You have a lot of cool teammates to hang out with, like you said yourself, the champ Brandon Moreno, you have El Pitbull Rojo, you have El Gallo Villaseca, you have all those Chileans getting in there as well. It's a fun place to be, man. I'm really sure that you're spending a happy time over there because I can see it on social media. Well,
Yes.
I followed your career since I was a young paintballer making my way up in the South American ranks. The first time I saw you was on a Contract Killer catalog. The show, I need to do a big shout out to the CK family and Chris Corsino, of course, a guy who's been deeply involved in spreading the fight life gospel through BJJ, kickboxing, and paintball as well. That's how I discovered you all those years ago when you were tearing it up in the King of Cage. How important has this relationship been in your career? I can tell you right now that being in paintball, having Chris in my corner surely was something else. So thinking about your tremendous grappling experience and all that fight life pursuit, there has to be a special familiarity there for sure, right?
Yeah, so I remember meeting Chris. I believe I was a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and that's when he had contacted me and we started working together. Chris is the man. I had nothing but great things to say about him. Funny guy. It's been a minute since I've seen him. I used to work a lot of the tournaments, but I don't do it no more. As far as the reason the pandemic hit, so things were shut down. And now I'm just so busy in my life, fighting, traveling everywhere. I don't have the time for all that. But yeah, Chris was one of the OG guys before I was fighting, supported and helped me, and I can't thank him enough. And he's the reason why CK is like what it is, you know what I mean? If it wasn't for that guy, the Contract Killer wouldn't be a cool thing. So he's the man, definitely.
Absolutely. Big mahalo to my chief, man. He's a big influence in my paintball career, and I really respect the guy. So I want to give a proper shout out to the man because he was one of the guys that made this thing happen, man. I was trying to get the kid here through Instagram, and I needed to get to the OG Godfather, man. Kiss the ring, and and then you got a text from him. So, sir, I appreciate your help. Right now, I just want to know a few things else. I want to know about what happened in the event. Of course, there was another big bantamweight fight again between Jose Aldo, of course, and Muñoz. How did you feel that one? How do you see Jose Aldo having this resurgence? Right, we saw vintage Jose Aldo on Saturday. What were your impressions of that fight?
Yeah, Aldo's a legend, man. He keeps defying the odds. I mean, people think, oh, he's done, he needs to retire, but he keeps, beating top-ranked guys, and I think he's showing why he is Jose Aldo, you know what I mean? And I think he's going to be in the bantamweight picture for a little while. He ain't going nowhere. He keeps beating these guys. Obviously, he took the loss to Peter Yan, but, he's been beating everybody else, and maybe he'll make a run for that title before he decides to hang it up.
Would you ever like to face the legend?
Yeah, it'd be cool, man. It'd be crazy to fight someone like that. Somebody I like, grew up in the sport watching. You know what I mean?
Right.
Coming up through my career watching Jose Aldo, and now he's a bantamweight. It'd be crazy for sure.
Well, how do you feel about that main event between Cyril Gane and Derek Lewis?
Yeah, man, I wanted Derek Lewis to pull that off. Such a funny guy, cool guy. Met him in person. I've seen him a lot at the hotel. But Cyril Gane is. I think he showcased how good he is. You know what I mean? He moves great for a heavyweight. With all respect, I don't want to disrespect the legend Muhammad Ali, but Muhammad Ali was so great at heavyweight. The way he moved tremendous for a heavyweight, and you're seeing that with Cyril Gane. Different styles, of course, but the way you don't see heavyweights move the way he moves, and I feel like he could be a real problem in the division. I think I'm interested to see him and Francis Ngannou fight. You know what I mean? I feel that's going to be a good fight. I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Who were you picking that one? Because that's the one we're all curious now.
Yeah. I feel Cyril Gane's a way technical fighter, and Ngannou got the power. But I'm honestly leaning towards Cyril Gane. You know, I think he could avoid that power. And in Gane, I think he just hits hard, but the longer that fight goes, I don't know if it favors him. You know, he's a big guy. He's massive. That body frame, it's not a 5-round fight. It's not a good body for a 5-round fight. And I think Cyril Gane could go those later rounds.
Yeah, so if the fight stretches, right.
And I think he could avoid getting hit in that first round. The way he's moving, his distance, and you're seeing that he avoided taking those shots from Derek Lewis. I mean, what was it, like 102 to 8 strikes? That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous difference. It was so strange. But man, we have a new interim champ. There's a new title unification coming up. That's exciting, of course. To come back to you and to wrap everything up, you've stated that you wish to remain active for what's left of the year, even if it has to come to cowboying it up. Like with you said that you wanted 4 fights next year, right? Is there any names right now in mind after getting a few sleeps in, or still undetermined?
Yeah, I mean, it's still undetermined. You know, there's so many talented guys in bantamweight. There's a lot of guys in the division, so like it's not a lot of names pop off. It'd be cool to fight Mark Striegel. Me and him were supposed to fight in April. He pulled out and stuff, so you know, I don't know if he's all good now. It'd be cool to run that just because, you know, we were scheduled to fight. But we'll see what happens, man. You know, talk to my manager and team, see what comes up. It'd be cool to fight in Las Vegas. Honestly, I like fighting in Vegas with the crowd, of course.
Right.
I prefer to fight with the crowd, so hopefully that's another thing too. Find out what cars are available, because I'd rather fight with the crowd.
Yeah, I think that the crowd would love to see you as well. Well, Johnny, I don't want to take any more of your time. I appreciate that you took the time to talk to us. And you know what? Let's get rid of English. Aquí estamos hablando en español, hijo de la chingada, nada más de inglés. Hablemos un poco de lo que nos gusta, hermano, porque somos latinos. Yo me voy a despedir con una pregunta mucho más relajada, mucho más simple, antes de que le mandemos un saludo a todos los fans en español. ¿Cómo estuvo después de pelear? ¿Cuál fue esa comidita rica que te mandaste? Porque me imagino que después de todo ese esfuerzo hay que comer algo rico, ¿no?
Sí, pues ya cuando llegué a mi casa aquí, yo estaba comiendo tacos. Mi mamá como hizo un chingón de tacos y pues comí como 10 tacos.
Eso.
De carne de res, y también cuando terminé todos los tacos yo fui a comer pizza. Y pues sí, me gusta comer después de las peleas porque siempre estoy entrenando muy duro, estoy en dieta y nomás quiero disfrutar un poquito porque me gusta disfrutar comiendo comida así. Sí, también lo que necesito que comer es hamburguesas. Sí. Me gustan las hamburguesas aquí en California y tengo que ir a un lugar para comer eso.
¿Tu hamburguesa favorita es Shake Shack, In-N-Out? Ahí, ¿en qué lado de la fuerza estamos? ¿En qué lado de la fuerza estamos?
In-N-Out. ¿Cómo sabías de In-N-Out?
Ah, porque soy una persona que investiga mucho.
Esto, In-N-Out es el mejor.
Vamos a tener que ir, apenas me vaya a dar una vuelta, te voy a invitar a que vayamos a comer a In-N-Out, brother.
Cuando estás en California, mándame un mensaje o algo y pues tú necesitas que ir a In-N-Out. Si alguien, a todos que están viendo la entrevista aquí, si ustedes están en California, un día vas a viajar aquí en California, necesitas que ir a In-N-Out. Súper padre, súper rico.
Te arruina todo después para adelante porque las hamburguesas no saben igual después. Bueno, antes de despedirnos, obviamente un mensaje para todos los fans en español, a los gringos cuando quieran, pero hoy día estamos en español en Fordewin MMA, así que quiero dejar a Johnny Muñoz, el Kid Kvenbo, que nos va a dar ahí un mensaje a todos los fans en español. Kid, el escenario es tuyo.
Sí, no más gracias por tenerme aquí en tu show, y también gracias a todos los mexicanos, todos los latinos, de todos lados del mundo para todo el apoyo. Tengo muchos mensajes y vi que muchos me escribieron en español. Y nomás quiero decir que todo lo que yo hago es para la raza, para todos los latinos. Como ustedes ya saben, los latinos nacieron en sangre y guerra. Y por eso nosotros gustamos pelear y
nos gusta, claro.
Pues sí, porque en la vida como crecí peleando para subir en la vida y más quiero mostrar todo eso, que hey, eso es para ustedes y si nomás tienes confianza en tu mente, todo es posible.
Excelente, Johnny, te agradezco mucho la posibilidad de compartir con nosotros. De seguro vamos a estar conversando antes de tu próxima pelea, así que un abrazo a la distancia. Nos vamos a mandar ese in and out, tenlo por seguro, así que con eso nos despedimos. Johnny, mi agradecimiento, que estés muy bien. Gracias por estar en Fordewin.
Gracias por tenerme, saludos.
To my sights, yeah, plus I'm coming for your head, Chuck, ice type. I ain't no stranger to circumstance, don't notice I'm about to dance. I keep my ship tight, cause any moment I'm throwing hands. I'm blowing up on your man, KOing him on demand. Fight of the night, bitch, I'll put ice in my corner, man. Coming for the win, no weakness. Kote on a mission, no secret. Flick of the wrist.